Hello YouTube and welcome to the channel. Now then, in today's video we're going to be looking at this. It's the Wltoys 104009. It's a 1/10 scale buggy basher type thing, 2.4 gig, ready to run, 4-wheel drive. What we're going to be doing is an unboxing and a teardown, and we're going to see what's underneath. There's lots of running videos of these, but I want to see what's underneath and what you get for your money. Now this thing is on Banggood. I think it was 102 quid, which is about $127 US approximately. So it's not the cheapest thing out there, but it's certainly far from being the most expensive. But anyway, let's crack the box open and let's see what we get. Right then, in the box we get our instructions. We get a battery charger with some screws, and I think those screws are to fit the wheelie bar that comes with the RC. We also get a transmitter. Now I'm a big fan of these Wltoys transmitters. They do fit nice in the hand and they do feel a reasonable quality piece of kit. It's got steering, trim and throttle dual rate on it, as well as the normal functions you'd find on a controller, and then the actual RC itself. Now then, this, I must admit, this thing looks mint, and it's a little bit bigger than I thought it was going to be as well. I know it says 1/10 scale, but I wasn't expected to be, because normally they're a little bit small, aren't they? But this is quite a chunky, decently sized thing. Immediately I can tell that, looking at some of the componentry, it doesn't share much commonality between its brothers and sisters. But anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to do a teardown on this baby, and I'll get the bodywork off and see what we get underneath. Now before I start ripping this thing apart, I just thought I'd show you the lights, which are absolutely phenomenal. Obviously got 4 on the top. It looks like there's 3 in each lens on the body, and we've got 2 and these little spotlights here. I bet this would make a passable attempt at running at night, you know, with all these lights. Also, we get like a little pair of indicators, obviously they don't blink or anything, and a little pair of brake lights as well. So the lights on this thing are absolutely phenomenal. Another point of interest before we start ripping the thing apart is where the battery lives. It actually lives underneath in its own compartment in the chassis. It's held in by this little spring-loaded door. Now the battery they supply is a 1500 mAh lithium ion. I must admit, for this sort of money, I'd like to have seen a LiPo. I mean, the actual compartment is big enough to put the 2200 mAh LiPo that they supply on some of the toys in there, so it would have been nice to get one actually. But anyway, let's carry on. Right then, underneath the bodywork we get a great big 550 brushed motor. There's plenty of go in these. We get an absolutely huge purple radiator on top of it, so it must get warm. We've got our little combined ESC and receiver, and to be honest that looks like the same unit that's in the 104001, is it? We've got a great big servo there, 5-wire unfortunately though. But I think that looks like the same servo as you get in the, is it 12429? I guess because it's moving some much larger wheels. What we'll do, actually that's a point, we'll start with the wheels and we'll start stripping this thing down. Now then, it doesn't look, disappointingly, as there's much commonality between this thing and its other brethren, so I think it's a pretty unique RC on its own, this. Wheels wise, we've got these 5-spoke 12mm hex rims. I think they look really smart. Rubbers, nice and soft and compliant. Unfortunately there's no foams in them. I think I would have liked to have seen a set of foams in these just to help them keep their integrity. Shock absorber wise, you do get these nice oil filled adjustable units. That's one decent thing about Wltoys, actually. You do get quality shocks on them. Even though they're a budget RC, you get a decent set. They're much longer and larger than the 14401 or the 12th scale brethren. I thought they'd probably be the same, but they're not. They're a lot larger on this. Right, front suspension and drivetrain wise, we've got metal dog bones stroke drive shafts on the front. The lower wishbones on this are metal. They're not aluminium. They're actually made of some sort of alloy, but not aluminium alloy because they're far too heavy. Now then, the plastic componentry on this, I'm going to be honest with you, it doesn't feel as nice quality as its smaller brethren like the 14401. You do get, however, you do get a massive bearing on the inside of these steering hubs here. It's huge, but the plastic does feel a little bit cheap and nasty on this. Anyway, we'll have a look at the rear. I think it's going to probably be very similar MO on the rear, but we'll have a look at the rear, see what we get. Again, the plastic upper wishbones and the hubs don't look particularly nice quality. They do look a bit cheap and nasty, to be honest. As do these body mounts as well. These are flimsy as you like, these are. There's nothing to these. How long these had lasted in a crash, I don't know. But they really are thin and spindly. I did forget to mention on the front we've got some adjustable steering linkages here, so you can adjust the toe in and toe out of the front wheels. Anyway, let's move our attention to the inside of the transmission. I want to have a look at what sort of gears we get, what sort of differentials we get. Well, so take this cover off and we'll have a look. I've just removed the servo saver and the steering linkages, and I've noticed that unlike a lot of other Wltoys, this actually runs on little metal bushes. Normally on something like this you'd get the little ball bearings like the 144001, 124019, etc. They have ball bearings inside the servo saver, whereas these have little brass bushes. Now I'm not terribly impressed with the quality of the plastic either. There's a lot of moulding flashing on things, and it just doesn't feel very nice plastic at all. So far, I'm not terribly impressed with the quality of this thing, considering it is minimum 100 quid retail. Transmission wise, we have got a big plastic reduction gear and a sort of brass pinion gear on the motor. I'll take some of the covers off. We'll take one of these diffs apart and we'll have a look in. Now we've got a great big metal shaft that runs down the middle to distribute the power to the front. It looks like a great big metal dog bone actually. But we'll get into one of these diffs and have a look. Centre transmission wise, well, there's our great big centre dog bone that distributes the power front and rear. There's our plastic reduction gear. Doesn't feel particularly nice plastic, I'm gonna admit to you. Now on the front, this drives, on the front differential I should say, it drives a metal drive cup, but on the rear it actually drives this plastic drive cup. Now how long that's going to last I don't know. Now why bother going to the trouble of having metal drive cups on the wheels and driving the front differential when you've end up with a plastic one on the rear? Not 100% sure of the logic behind that. Well, it comes down to price at the end of the day, doesn't it? Differentials, I think they are the same as the 12427, 12429, etc. They're going to have metal gears in them. I can feel them. I tell you what though, these differentials are really stiff, not very smooth at all. In fact, they feel horrible, to be honest. And it's the same sort of front and rear as well. Really tight, not very nice at all. Motor mounts on a plastic mount, and the central shaft is supported by a single bearing, and there's our brass pinion gear on the end of the motor. Here we have our great big chunky 5-wire steering servo. Now I think this is the same as the 104001 and the 12429. So it's got plenty of power, this thing has. It's just a shame that it's 5-wire unfortunately, so you're a little bit stuck if you need to replace it. Right then, that's our 104009 stripped down and distributed liberally all over my desk. What did we think? Well, I'm going to be absolutely brutally honest with you guys. I'm not that impressed with this thing. It doesn't share any of its major components with any of the other Wltoys range, which is a shame really, because things like the 14401, the 124019, etc. do seem a lot nicer quality. I mean, this chassis that comes with the 104009, it feels horrible and plasticky and thin. It's not even that nice sort of durable, flexible plastic you get. It feels as though it'll just break as soon as you look at it. Other bits like the steering links and the servo saver, it's just the moulding and the flash. There's loads of moulding and flash on it. The componentry doesn't feel very nice quality. There's no proper bearings in anything in this anyway. Like I say, the same with the reduction gear, it feels like horrible sort of cheap plastic. I'm not that impressed, to be honest. For 100 and some odd quid, I don't think you get particularly good value for money, to be honest. I mean, don't get me wrong, the thing looks the part, but I just don't think the quality's quite there to back it up. I mean, the 1440, I know I keep harping on about it, the 144001 and the 124019 do feel a lot better screwed together than this thing, and for roughly the same money, to be honest. So would I recommend the Wltoys 104009? And to be honest, on the basis of this teardown, I probably wouldn't bother. I think there's some nicer, better quality RCs out there for the similar sort of money. I mean, you only have to look at the rest of the Wltoys range. And I would say the 144001 etc. is infinitely preferable to this. It looks the part, but I don't think like I said, I don't think the quality's quite there to back it up. And to be honest, if you want a decent sort of 1/10 scale buggy basher, and if you can find one, the Flyhal 610 still takes some beating based on the HBX 2995, is it? Superb piece of kit, and it literally was about, at the time Banggood was selling them, about 40 quid less as well. Like I say, Banggood have stopped doing them, unfortunately, but if you can find one and they're still that cheap, buy one of those instead. And if anyone wants one, I shall leave an affiliate link in the description below. And as ever on the channel, if you've enjoyed the video and you found it of some use and interest, please give it a big thumbs up. And if you're feeling that way inclined, hit that subscribe button for more similar future content. Once again, guys, thank you for watching, and I will catch you again very soon.